Hey everyone, welcome back to Kettle Haven Ranch. I'm Steve. Today we're out in the apiary. We're having a warm day, about 46 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was really looking at getting feeders put onto the hives. But as you can see, I don't have any bees flying at all. They're all up into the sugar on the top of the hives. So I'm feeling pretty good about how they're doing. I think we have 5 of the hives of the 8 we started with last year at this time. 5 of those hives are still alive and look like they survived the winter. But right now, as you can see, no one's flying. We got direct sunlight, but we do have wind and it is cool out. And that coolness, the bees feel that. They don't want to come out and fly around in it. I don't blame them. They don't have to do a cleansing flight. They're not going to. The queens haven't started laying yet. And so we're not worried about having any orientation flights going on. Right now, they're just still holed up and trying to get through this cold part of the year. March 1st is tomorrow. I'll try to get some feeders out probably by the 3rd or so. Looks like we'll be up in the low 50s then. I feel a lot better about opening these up and cleaning them out and working with the bees. But right now I can tell you, hive 2 and hive 3 both have clusters on the sugar that we put out for them. And they're working it right now. I peeked. I didn't want to leave it open enough for the camera, but I did look and they're busy eating that hard sugar down. Of course, this time of year, the sugar that we put out on top of the newspaper, right on top of the frames on the inside, on the top body, that sugar has absorbed the moisture from the hive throughout the winter and has turned to a hard candy. Pretty neat the way it works. And when we take it apart, you'll see we have big clumps of sugar that they haven't eaten yet, that has absorbed the moisture and kept the moisture out of the rest of the hive, which is nice. So we have a couple different options on feeding them. The first option is to go ahead and put the entrance feeders in. I don't like those this time of year. We're still going to be down below freezing at night, even down into the low 20s. Obviously, you don't want things freezing up there. I don't want the bees coming out though also. If they're hungry, I don't want them to be lured out of the hive and out of any possible cluster that they're looking at. So then we have 2 different other options, or actually 3 options we can look at. The first one being the commercial feeders that go inside the top of your hive. We'll look at those in the next video. The pros and cons of those, they do break the cluster apart. I'm not too happy with that. Another hive top feeder that we have is just the mason jar with the holes drilled into the lid, put in a little mount so that it drips down into the hive slowly, and the bees of course come right up and grab it. But that leaves them up in their area where they are warm and they can get right back in the cluster if they need to. It also, by having that masonry jar inside one of the supers, it is insulated a little bit from the extreme temperatures. The third option I've used, and I might use it this year because I still have honey in frames, in medium super frames that I have not processed yet. We might put those over there on our big hive. Pull out some of those frames, put honey in. That's probably the best thing for them. They'll get up, they can move their cluster right onto that honey. They got plenty of food to get them through until mid-April, when we start getting blossoms and blooms going out here and there's a pollen flow. Now you've seen me in past videos put out the 5-gallon bucket full of syrup and with a little bit of straw on top. That works fine. I like that in the summertime, in the fall, when it's away from the hives. Right now, even though we don't have a lot of pressure, or any pressure I should say, from yellow jackets on the hives, I don't want any pests right in this area. So if I was to use that style of feeding, I'd put it out at least 100 yards away, if not 200 yards away. But once again, with the cool nighttime temperatures, I don't want the bees flying that far. Hopefully we're looking at the last of the snow and temperatures moderating, but our long-term forecast looks good. And sure hope you guys enjoy our videos. Things to look at for the spring. Hopefully you have lined up new bees if you need replacement bees, either your packages or your nukes, because those are going to be probably selling out pretty quick. They do around here, that's for sure. Think about how you want to make any changes to your apiary. This is the time of year to change the apiary, and I'm going to be doing that in a future video. We're going to change it up a little bit so we don't have one row where we get a lot of drifting going on. We're going to break it up a little bit so that the bees can see where their actual hive is a lot better. I'm not going to just rely on the different color schemes of the hive bodies. As usual, if you like our content, please like, subscribe, share if you want, hit the notification bell. So the next video is back in the workshop. We'll be looking at building hive bodies on the CNC machine, part of our practical CNC playlist. And boy, hopefully spring's on its way, because we got lambs, we got piglets, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. As usual, stay safe, stay healthy, take care.